Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Powwow with the Pals. I'm Brian,
I'm Vanessa.
and we're the Pals. How everybody doing today on this amazing Thursday?
What up,
Amazing
y'all?
Thursday, y'all. Talk to us, man. Tell us what's going on in y'all world today. Let us know. Let us know what is going on in y'all world on today.
We haven't been here in a little bit.
We
That's
haven't.
live.
We haven't.
But we here now.
That's it. Like they say, I ain't here for a good time, but a long time.
Hmm
We blessed.
So,
Way up, we feel blessed.
but yeah, we here, y'all.
We
Live.
here, live and in full effect.
hmm
That's what we do, y'all.
So, but how's everybody been doing?
Yeah, how is our good people out there in radio land, TV land, the land? How y'all doing out there? We want to know. Jump on and let us know how y'all doing, man. We gonna get started in a second, y'all.
We good. Working a lot.
That's what we do. We working a lot. We just chopping it up, and we doing what we do, y'all. That's it. We can't complain. It ain't doing us no good if we complain.
Right.
So you definitely want to constantly let the good outweigh your bad all the time.
So, what's
So,
been going on in your world, babe?
oh man, work. I got everything started with the
Oh yeah, he got everything started with his business. His
yes,
well, so for those that don't know, my husband is big on security and concealed to carry, helping people get in their concealed to carry and everything. So he's been doing like firearm practice with people just to get them comfortable with their firearms. So yeah, so if you need some training in firearms, holla at your boy.
I'm your boy. I'm your man.
Secure attack.
Secure tech. That's what we is, man. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We want you guys to just come on and just, like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Secure tech.
Yeah. So if you need, he's mobile. So if you are somewhere else besides, where we live at in Illinois, in Peoria, he can either come to you or you come to him and set up some times or whatever. So that's what he's been working on.
That's what I've been working on, y'all. My
Mm-hmm.
wife, she been supportive of me doing it, and I have a lot of people that I really been honing in, working with and stuff, and it's been going really well. I mean, people shooting for the first time, utilizing the firearm, shooting for the first time, and just getting over that initial fear is one of the biggest things a lot of people face.
Yeah.
Getting over that initial fear of using the firearm
Yeah.
and everything. So that's been the great thing about what I do, man, and I am just so excited about it. And the avenue the Lord is going to take me with this job and everything, with this business and everything, because he he gave me this vision. He gave me this
Mm-hmm.
job and everything, and
It
he
says
told me what
write
I
the
got to do.
vision and make it plain.
Yes, and if he give you a vision, he's gonna make provision.
Yeah.
And we never know who God will touch their heart, and you don't know how it's gonna be. So that's the biggest thing that I look at and everything. You never know how God is gonna bless or how the situation is gonna turn out. So I'm excited about it, and I think just a lot of things can go about this and everything. It can go a lot of avenues, and I see a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people being able to utilize this service. And not only we're going to be secure tech, we're going to also We're gonna also have a security company as well. So Secure Tech is
Mhm.
not only firearm instructions and everything, and getting you conceal and carry. We're gonna be able to go and take you uh, take you on your journey. If you're looking for a job, a place of employment, and everything, we'll be
Mhm.
able to get you out there. And I'm going to get out there and do a lot of contracts and everything, and try to drum up a lot of business and everything. Because I do have a gift. I do have a gift, and I thank God for my gift. And I
Mhm.
just love sharing my gift with others. So
Okay.
that's one of the biggest things that I'm really looking for and everything. So
Yep.
thank you guys, man. Just thank you guys for all the support. Like the page, man. It is Secure Tact LLC on Facebook. Go on there and like it, man. And I'll be posting videos and things of that nature on the video. You'll be able to see certain things on there, how to shoot. And I'm gonna be posting. Also, I'll be posting like little shooting videos and safety videos and things of that nature. So you don't want to miss it, man. You don't want to miss being a part of it, because, like I say, it's a lot of good information on there that you need to know. It's laws out there a lot of people need to know.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate everybody uh with the laws and everything. And
Let's
yeah, that's
get
about
into
it,
it.
man.
So we're gonna get right on into it.
Oh yeah, tonight we're gonna talk about a little something that's different and everything. Uh we know how everybody talk about for better or worse, for richer, for
The marriage
poor.
vows.
So basically your marriage vows, for sickness and health. Uh
So death
what
do
does
us
that,
part.
to death do us part? What does that really mean to you? That's the biggest thing. What does those marriage vows really mean? Because it's easy to say, but it's a whole different way of living it.
Hmm.
And that's the biggest thing that we want to talk about and jump into and chop it up today.
So I was looking on because nowadays we have Google and Chat GPT or whatever you say.
Uh-huh.
So I just did a Google for marriage vows, just a general. And it says marriage vows are a set of promises made between two people,
Mm-hmm.
typically during a wedding ceremony, signifying their commitment to a lifelong partnership. They outline the couple's intentions for love, support, and fidelity throughout their marriage. These promises are a foundation for the marriage and a guide for navigating the ups and downs of married life. Um, so we chose this topic because, like I told my husband, I was like, let's talk about that because a lot of people um, that are married or unmarried,
Yes.
let's just break down, like for us, what does it mean? Not even what it means, but what have we been through? What marriage vows have we already lived? Um, because we've been married going on 24 years in June next
Yeah.
month actually. And so like what does that mean for us? Like I mean, what does the things that we have said in our marriage vows, what have we experienced?
Yes.
Because it's a lot. And we definitely have the sickness and health because we both have had um health scares
Yes.
um for you got richer or poor. Everybody deals with different financial ups and downs, especially because getting married, some people get married in their older age, which I'm saying like old and seasoned. Like
Yeah.
people, some people get married in their 40s and 50s for the first time. But then you have some that get married like us. We got married in our early 20s. We talking about like 23, 24. So we still trying to figure out careers and
Oh
then
yeah.
bringing children into that space as well. And you know um how much money we make and how are we doing this, how are we doing that, buying our first home,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So we've also have dealt with losing both of our fathers within a month apart, you
Yes.
know dealing with that. I'm helping him with dealing with the grief of his father, but at the same time, my dad was sick and died a month later. So, you know, different stuff like that. Having to move, having to relocate, living without my spouse for like what, almost 6 months,
No,
five,
came up in August, September, October,
so 4 months.
4 months.
So
4 months.
him living, in a different state, you know, and he either coming to visit me and the kids for 1 week, or I mean for a weekend, and then, having to come back to go to work and stuff. So, it's a lot of different things that we have experienced. So,
Yes.
um, but what you want to talk about first, babe?
Man, we experienced so much, man. When I say we experienced so much, you'll be surprised all the stuff that we had to go through, man.
Mm-hmm.
Uh we can start off with sickness and the health, man.
Yeah. So,
Man, in 2016, we moved up here. Well, I moved up here in August,
mhm.
and they moved up in December. And what month was it in 2017 when we
So
had
that
the
was
scare?
2017.
Uh-huh.
It was April
April.
or
Yes.
March. It was March or April of 2017. Anyway, I had noticed that I was getting real sick. I was getting sick. Like, we lived in an apartment, so we stayed on
Yeah.
the second floor, and I was having like shortness of breath, and I couldn't. Every time I would come up the stairs, I would just, be breathing like real heavy, and I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, what is going on? So anyway, fast forward, I ended up going to urgent care during the day, and they, drew my blood and stuff, and they said that my white blood cell count was very, very low, to the point where they were like, I don't even know how you're surviving. They was like, if you don't go to the ER by ambulance,
Mm-hmm.
or your husband taking you, um, you're gonna start having some problems, like major problems. So anyway, I ended up going to the ER. Had Brian take me, and went to the ER, and they ran all these tests and everything.
Hey Tiff, how you
And
doing? Tiff just joined us and
hey,
stuff.
Tiff. And so they said that I was losing too much blood,
Yeah.
basically, with my, females have that monthly. And so that I was losing too much blood. And they said the only way that that's going to stop is if you have a hysterectomy. So I'm like, really? It was like, yeah, you're going to have it soon. So anyway, I ended up having it like within, like, I think 2 or 3 weeks out, because I had to have my parents come up here to help with the kids and stuff like that, because Brian was still new at his job.
Yeah.
So ended up having a hysterectomy, had the surgery. Um, Surgery was, well, I had, stay in the hospital for a little bit. Then after I came home, I was having more complications. So I had to go back in the hospital for 5 days. No food, no, I couldn't even sip on ice, water, nothing like that. Tubes going down my nose, and it was horrible. Um, the kids, they were, at that point, they were on, you ready to start spring break. So my parents just took them back with them.
Mm-hmm.
So just me and Brian here. We didn't know anybody here.
We didn't have nobody here.
Nobody here in Peoria.
Just us.
Just us. And I ended up just, I was just in a hospital, just praying my way through, and just like, okay, Lord, I don't know what's going on, but you have got to get me out of this hospital. You got to heal me. And it just so happened there was this lady, um, she would come in and clean my room every day. She would come in and mop. She would come in singing like little hymns and stuff. And she would ask how I was doing. She was like, I'm praying for you. Every time I come up here, I'm praying for you. But she said, you got to get out of that bed and you got to walk. And I said, I don't think I can walk. She was like, you can walk. And I had to build my strength and everything back up. It was just horrible. So she ended up saying, okay, you got to get up and walk. So I would start walking the halls and stuff. Day by day, I was getting better. And so I ended up asking them, I had to go back to the hospital for something just to drop some stuff off. And I asked them, I said, where's that little lady that would come in and clean my room? And I was describing, they was like, there's nobody that cleans rooms that look like that. Like, we don't, they were like looking at me like I was crazy. But I came to realize it was like an actual angel.
Wow.
It was an angel.
An angel.
Yeah.
An angel is amongst us, man.
Mm-hmm. Because
Wow. You never told me that.
I know,
You never told me that.
I know.
Wow.
And she was just encouraging me every day. She would come in every day.
It's just crazy that they don't know who that was.
They don't. They didn't.
They didn't even know who she was.
Mm-mm.
That is amazing. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was my health scare, and even like I even talked to Brian about like even after all of that. Um, but I mean, that's something we could talk about later at a different time because that's a whole nother subject. But even after all of that surgery and stuff, I went through even some part of depression because at that
Yeah.
time I wasn't working and I wanted to work. And for some reason, I just could not find a job. I was I went even a year out of culinary school, but I couldn't find a job, and I was just really getting
Mm-hmm.
beside myself. Like, is this what I really should have done? I'm up here, whatever, and I just feel like, I couldn't just really hit the pavement like I really wanted to.
Right.
So, but yeah, so that was the thing with us because we had never dealt with me being sick like that.
No,
So,
it was scary. But then out of that, we she was at home, and then I was like, you know what? It's I was looking for us a church home and everything, and we just so happened uh on one Sunday morning she was at home resting. Me and the kids were out. We were going to different churches and everything. We went to one church, and they had a 7 o'clock service, and they were finished around 9. And I'm like, y'all got any more service? No, we finished our service for the day. I'm like, okay, I done went to a couple of churches. So I said, let me go to New Life Christian Church. And I went over there, and when I was driving down the street, when I put it in my GPS, got over there, and then I was hearing Bishop Dawson, Harold Dawson Jr. I heard Bishop preaching and stuff, and I heard him outside and stuff. Like, okay, it sounds like Bishop Scott back in St. Louis. So I got the kids out. We came into church and we sat at the back of the church. I never forget it and everything. And he just got up and he just started preaching, and he was flowing. And then I
mhm.
called Vanessa and I said, you know what, you gotta hear this guy, man. This guy is on point.
I was laying in the bed
She
and
was
he
laying there, and
said,
I said, don't say nothing. I put her on speaker, and I put her on speaker, and she just heard the whole sermon. And the following week, she was well enough, and we went back and visited again.
it was like the week before my surgery.
Mhm.
It was the week before my surgery when I went because I remember I was in the service and I was just like praying and I was like, this is exactly what I needed before I go into the surgery.
Yeah, and we went into the surgery. We was there and everything worked itself out. I mean, when she had to go back in and everything, we had the kids and everything. But like I always tell her, it was us against the world because there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't nobody else up here but us. It was
Yeah.
just me and her, and it was just I called it us against the world.
Mm-hmm.
So we was just up here and we got through that situation, man. And that, to God be the glory, everything worked out.
Yeah.
My scare happened just this year, back on my birthday. I used the restroom, and it was a dark stool, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? It was just blacker than my shirt.
No, it happened the day before. And I think it happened two
It
days
No, it
before.
happened 3 days, a couple days before.
Yeah. You just didn't say nothing to me.
And I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I'm like, I'm taking the laxative, try to flush me out, thinking it's something, and just kept on. But it was an upper GI bleed. It was like an ulcer and everything. And
You had acid buildup in your stomach.
yeah, so I was like, okay, cool. I said, let me go. And I said, let me go. And I went to the restroom one night, and then I washed my hands, and then I came out the restroom, and I just dropped down to a knee like I got lightheaded and everything. And Vanessa got up. She said, "What's wrong?" They called the ambulance, and the ambulance came and checked and asked me was I okay and everything. So, make a long story short, I got in the car and we went over to the hospital. They pulled blood, checked me and everything, and then they just said it was COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up going back home, and I was in the basement and everything. I ended up going and get my, and this is how crazy I was. I ended up going and get my renewing my driver's license, getting the real ID and everything. And this was on my birthday now. And I was in the basement with my mask on. Everybody else is upstairs, and I said I can't rest down here. So I walk up the steps, get in the bedroom, and then I just was feeling weak. So I just laid down in the bed. I was in the bed, laying down, resting and everything. And probably around 2 or 3 in the morning, I said, let me get up and go to the restroom. Got up and went to the restroom, uh, used the restroom, still dark stool, came back to my bed. Then like an hour or so later, I uh I started smelling something. I'm like, what is this smelling? I started smelling so I say, Dave. So Dave ended up coming in there, and I said, do you smell something? He said, and then I showed, he said, you got a little poop on you. I said, oh my God. So I'm like, uh-oh. Oh no.
And
So I
where
go
was
back.
I at?
You was in the living room
I
sleep.
man.
So I ended up going back to the restroom and using the restroom. And then I just got lightheaded in the restroom. So Vanessa came in there, they got me to the bed and stuff. They called 911, and the ambulance came again. But this time I ended up going with them.
Yeah.
Uh, but I was still messy. So when I say for better, for worse kicks in, this woman came in that room, got a soapy towel, and cleaned me up. When I say for better or for worse, and for sickness and in health, this woman came in there and cleaned me. That meant so much to me. That means that every vow we made was just honored right there because she cleaned me up. And then we ended up going to the hospital. I ended up riding to the hospital in the ambulance. And I get to the hospital. They do it the vitals and everything. So I'm sitting in a little wheelchair and everything. And Vanessa came
I
there,
just came in.
and she just looked. And then I don't know did I pass out
Yeah,
again?
so I'm like, I said, babe, how you feeling? And he was like, I'm okay. And then he started like his eyes started going back and like, like he was getting ready to pass out. He was shaking. I was like, nurse, I was like, somebody get over here, get over here. Cause they just had him sitting there in a wheelchair, like in the
Yeah,
middle of the floor. And so he had to pretty much pass out almost for them to even come and take him back to a room.
yeah,
And then, some of the people out there, they was like, now that don't make no sense. Like, really? Like, because he was losing blood. He had lost blood because when we went to the hospital the first time,
yeah,
it was a different hospital. And of course, they said, oh, we know what's wrong. He's dehydrated. But the main thing is he has COVID. So that was the first, the night. And then the second hospital we went to, they found out that, he was passing so much blood because he had acid buildup in his stomach
hmm,
and the upper GI bleed. And so, he was in a hospital for like what, 3 days?
yeah. I went in on that Saturday,
Saturday.
early Saturday morning. I
Uh-huh.
didn't get out to Monday.
Yeah,
They
till
had to do a
Monday.
procedure on me and everything that
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
and everything.
And then in the meantime, so he had COVID. So I'm going back and forth to the hospital. I'm like, okay, I gotta check on him, still trying to get the kids, you know, straight and make sure they cool and everything. And so that Saturday, I wasn't feeling well
mm-hmm.
because I woke up, my shoulder blades, I was feeling like, leery and stuff. So anyway, I ended up with COVID. And
Yes.
so when I went to the urgent care and they told me, oh, you just have, just upper respiratory, you're fine, you don't have COVID or nothing. So then one of my nurse friends, I was talking to her on that
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, and she was like, why do you keep coughing? And she was like, do you have COVID? I was like, I don't think so. They told me no.
And
She
she was in
said,
the hospital with me when
yeah, I
she
was in
was
the
gone.
hospital. I was going back and forth. But that Sunday when I came there to see you, it was like the longest hall ever that I had to walk down just to get to your room. I felt like I was going to pass out, y'all. When I say pass out, they was going to have to come
Man.
get me up. And so ended up going to urgent care that Sunday
Yeah.
and another one, and they told me I had COVID. So then
Wow.
he was there in the hospital with COVID and his issue, and then I was running back and forth with COVID myself. Then I couldn't go to work for 5 days because I had COVID. He worked from home, so I
Yeah.
couldn't go into work. So
And granted, I just when I got sick, I mean, I was probably like a month and a half in on the new job.
mm-hmm.
This is a brand new job, so I'm like, wow. It just so happened that my job was at the hospital. I worked for the hospital itself,
Right.
so you can't say I'm lying because we got all the information in the system and everything. You can look it up
Yeah.
because that was a scare though. But to make a long story short, she just went in. She was right there with me every step of the way. She clipped me. That was so big. That meant so much to me because it makes you appreciate your vows, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about tonight, for better or for worse.
That was
And
the in
the
sickness and in health.
sickness and the health. That was the
Yeah.
sickness and the health. Uh, those the marriage vows and stuff, man. We done seen probably each other at probably some of our most vulnerable moments and everything. And I know Vanessa mentioned she not finding a job when she got here and everything. But let me go a step further. When we got married, I was feeling really bad because she was working and I wasn't working at the time. And I was like, and I was to the point, I was like, should we just push the wedding off and stuff, man? Because I ain't working and stuff. I was feeling bad and stuff. But she said, no, we finna get married and stuff. We got each other and everything. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what meant a lot, man. I mean, as a married couple, when you're going through this thing, you gotta enjoy the good and the bad. You're gonna have your ups, you're gonna have your downs, but you just gotta appreciate those times that you have together and everything because
And I remember when you were feeling bad because you weren't working. It was probably like a month into our marriage because you were looking,
yeah,
but and you had went into the other room and you said we were upstairs and you went into the other bedroom and you was talking to your mom and you was like, Mom, I just feel bad because I don't have a job and I feel like I can't really provide for my wife and stuff. And you just started crying. And I went in there, I was like, don't worry about that. Like, God is going to provide for us. He's going to
mm-hmm.
make a way out of no way. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, that's part of marriage. When you get married, you don't just think all the time it's going to be blissful. It's not.
no, it's not.
It's not going to be.
You
It's
gonna
not.
have your good days and your bad
Yeah,
days
it's
and
not.
everything.
Marriage is not blissful all the days of your life.
They not. It's
It's
not.
not.
It's
You're
not.
gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have good times, bad times. You're gonna, it's just life.
Yeah,
But you have to have God here. God has to be there
as the foundation of the
as the
marriage and
foundation.
everything.
And once you have God, then you have everything that you need.
Yeah.
God is our source, not man, not our job. God is our source.
And that was the biggest thing when we hopped that hurdle and everything. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we had kids. We just dealt with hurdle after hurdle, man. But
Mm-hmm.
we have sat in these seats for going on 25 years together, and we didn't have friends that got married, got divorced, married, divorced, and everybody. We like the OGs or the veterans of the marriage club and stuff from our peers, and that means a lot, man. That means quite a bit because you got to think, man, when you take these vows, it's for the long haul,
Yep.
and you sit back and you think like, man, this can't be happening, or this can't be happening. I can't believe this and everything. But anything that don't kill you make you stronger. And
Yep.
we just got strength and strength and more strength from our situation and everything. So we have a good ride and everything, and we
Yep.
just talk about it and we laugh about it. And like I say, we saw each other, some of each other's lowest points and everything, our most vulnerable moments and everything. And in a marriage, it's okay to be vulnerable and everything.
Yep.
uh Men need to talk things out a lot more and get it off their chest and everything, because you can't be macho, 24/7. Everybody is vulnerable at times and have vulnerable moments. So uh that's what I really enjoyed about just the vows itself, and just the better for worse part. I mean, good times, bad times. I mean, we experienced it, and
Yep.
you guys will be experiencing the same thing as you go through your marriage journey. Uh, Talked to one of my guys when I went to St. Louis for my instruction lesson a couple weeks ago, and one of my guys, shout out to Lattimore, man. He getting married and everything, and they getting married in June, in May, no, end of this month in May. And I was just telling him, I told him about our podcast and everything, and just how we just share a journey and everything, and give give couples tips on what they should be looking for in their marriage and everything. And he say he nervous, but I said, you got this, brother. I mean, just main thing is keep the communication and always love each other. Find a different reason to love your spouse every day. Just, I love you because of this. I love you because of that.
Yeah.
I love you because you got chip toenail polish. I mean, just loving them because, man, and that plays a whole lot. And always, everybody talk about love languages and stuff. Words of affirmation mean a lot
Yes.
in a relationship. You gotta build your spouse up, because the word says life and death are in the power of the tongue. You can speak life into a person, you can speak life into a situation, but you can also curse a situation, and you can speak death into a situation as well. So you want to just constantly encourage and speak life into your spouse, because you got people that don't speak life into their spouse,
Mm-hmm.
and that opens the door for the enemy. And if I'm not speaking life into her, and she's going out this house every day, every day, every day, she will eventually run across somebody that's going to speak life into her,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be positive, and that's going to draw her closer to that individual and draw her further away from me, and
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. That's how it is. When you speak in life, you're just building and connecting even further in everything.
Yeah.
When you speak life into that person, when you don't speak life, you're just driving a wedge in between, that the enemy can just peek in, try to stick his foot in, and try to do something
Yeah.
and discourage and despair your marriage and everything. So definitely keep on speaking life into each other,
Yeah.
because it's big. I mean, it is crucial. I love seeing married couples, man. I love seeing the old couples, the young couples, and everything. It's just an amazement to see the couples and some of the marriages and everything. Because me and Vanessa, we shared with you guys last week. We watched the show Pop the Balloon and Find Love. And the dating pool out here is not good at all. The dating pool is really, really bad. Dating pool sucks. It's horrible. So when you go through a bad dating pool and you're trying to find that significant other, that special someone, and you can't find them, you get frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get frustrated, you tend to settle.
Mm-hmm.
Settle. God don't want us to settle. God has our best out there for him.
Yeah.
But in order to get God's best, we have to be our best.
Yeah.
We need to be our best in order to get God's best. So if we are being our best day in and day out, God, and we got to ask God for what we want. The words say, let your request be made known unto God.
Yeah.
You got to let him know what you want. Just like God knows what we love and what we like, I'm going to tell you, the enemy is the same. The enemy knows the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The enemy knows if you like tall, dark, and handsome ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas, the enemy know if you like thick, nice bottom, nice physique, everything. The enemy knows these things.
Yeah.
Because we let our requests be made known unto God.
Yeah.
When we speak to God, it ain't like Satan is not hearing. Say, as we speak to God, Satan has an ear towards that prayer.
Yeah.
That we're speaking to God.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows what we're praying. And he knows the obstacles and the barriers he's going to try to throw up in our way and everything. So as we speak to God, let's be intentional. Just like relationships. We got to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you agree?
I agree.
We got to be intentional with our relationship with God, with our spending time with God, with our prayer times and everything. We got to be intentional on that all the time. So
yeah.
I'm excited about just sharing just this episode where we was talking about stuff, relationships and marriage vows.
Marriage vows.
What you got something for us?
I was just going through, it says for better, for worse, and sickness and health, for which for, to that to his part. So
The marriage vows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
So
through chip toenail polish, through
that's not on the list.
Through farting in your sleep, through snoring. That
I guess.
I'm telling you, we talk about for better or for worse. These are some of the things.
Look, for when we were in what do you call it? Lockdown during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call that?
Quarantine.
Uh-huh. Well, no. In 2020, when we couldn't go out and stuff.
It was quarantine. Everybody was quarantined.
On lockdown, basically. That's what they called it.
Quarantine.
Okay. So anyway, when we were in that part, of course, everybody was working from home. Well, I wasn't working. My job just pretty much shut down. Brian was working from home. So dealing with everybody being at home. And then instead of me working, I wasn't working, but I was helping my daughter with online learning. So I went from being a chef to a teacher. Teaching our special needs daughter, trying to get her acclimated to being at home, and my son too. So that was a lot. But her teacher still met with her online and stuff. So they helped out a whole lot. But there was this one particular time, of course, because, barbershops and stuff weren't open. So Brian was like, man, I need a haircut bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want me to cut your hair? He was like, oh, no, you're not going to cut my head.
I'm like,
but
heck no.
I said, well, I can line you up. Do you trust me? He was like, I trust you, but not with my line. I said, just trust me. I said, you ain't going nowhere anyway. Just let me line the front up a little bit. And what happened?
Did I let you line me up?
Yeah. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. Crooked. But it wasn't gonna get done again, Bob. It wasn't bad, but I wasn't finna mess with her and let her do it again, man. So nah. But she did a decent job. She
If worse came to worse again, would you let me do it again?
Probably not.
That's what's up.
Probably not. There's
He
nothing.
act like I did the what's the name in barbershop where I cut the toupee off.
Oh, she like Eddie, man. She had me like Laylo Brown. You want to get down? Vote for Laylo Brown.
Not Laylo Brown.
But yeah, man, that's just a little something that we was just really thinking about and talking about. And I know we do a lot of things, man. We watch a lot of shows together. She has hit me on to some shows and everything that we watch and everything. And I'm just like, okay, cool, cool. I mean, these are some of the things for some of the better, for worse, rich for we just sacrifice and do things for our spouse just to just to have quality time.
Oh, and you know what? Let me tell you something that he did, and he probably forgot. Um, so I was working at the school. I was working at the university in one of the fraternity houses, and my dad um, was in the hospital, but he was up in Iowa City, which is a little further away. So my mom was there, but she didn't have a way back home. She had already been there, I think, overnight or something. And she said, "There's really nothing I can do just sitting up here. I want to go home and, take care of some stuff and whatever." And I said, "Well, um, but," and so anyway, my Brian said, "Well," I said, "Brian, I just really need somebody to go pick up mom and take her back home because the ride that she had up there, um, they didn't come back or whatever." So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, Brian left from Peoria, went all the way to Iowa City, which is like what 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Went and got her from the hospital, visited my dad and everything because at that time my dad was getting sick. And so then he took my mom all the way home, which was about I think about 45 minutes to an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
Took her home and then still came back to Peoria all in one day.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there really showed me that he really that really got my heart. It did because he didn't have to
Oh,
he didn't have to do that. And my daddy, he was happy to see Brian.
that's what we talk about. Those vows really, really mean something.
My
I
dad, he loved Brian so much. He loved him. They always would talk about the Cardinals games and stuff. I remember when he took, oh my gosh, my nose is red. He he took my dad to the Cardinals to his first ever Cardinal game. I think at the old Bush Stadium and the new
mm-hmm.
one. And he just, when I called my mom and I said Brian's coming up, I said he should be walking in. And my daddy was so happy to see Brian. My mom was too, and and it makes you feel good that you have a spouse that not only cares for you but cares for your parents, and that is so important
Right.
in a marriage. I remember somebody telling me like you want to have a spouse that you want to have a spouse that can care for you, not only care for you, but care for your parents. And you have to think, is this somebody that you want to be standing by? It kind of sounds weird, but it doesn't because we've been through it. Is this somebody that you want that you would like to have stand by you as you're letting the casket down in the ground you're burying one of your parents, you know? And so that right there, that puts a big emphasis on how you marry somebody and who you marry. So and like I said, we've been through that. we've been through that. So burying both of our fathers and stuff. So
Yeah, that was a challenge. That was
yeah,
burying both our fathers within 45 days of one another.
yep,
And then later on that year, I ended up losing my Uncle Frank, who was like
yep,
another father figure in November
yep,
of that year. So 2020 was a year from hell. But in spite of all of that, God is still amazing. He was
yeah,
amazing. He got us through that time and everything. And the thing we have going on with our moms right now and everything, they are still vibrant, full of energy and everything. But we know they're getting older.
yeah,
And that's the reality of it. They're getting older and everything. And the only thing we could do is just keep on loving on them and everything.
yeah,
And have one of my players who played ball for me, man. He ended up losing his mom over the weekend and everything. And Mother's Day is a week away. So he had to spend a Mother's Day without his mother. And this is a young man that's probably like in his early 30s to mid 30s and everything. So you just got to just appreciate and love and respect what's going on and everything, especially when you got a spouse, man. You got a good spouse, man, that's going to do these things. You just consider yourself blessed because a lot of times you don't really appreciate it and everything in that moment. But when you sit back and reflect on it and just think back, you have a better found appreciation for your spouse because uh and good we don't do it for no recognition. It's just second nature for us for spouses. Not only just husbands and wives, it's second nature and everything. You just do it because you love that person. I love her so much that I would go pick up her mom, her dad, and I love them too. I love not only her, I love them too. And I did that out of love. It wasn't
mm-hmm.
obligation and everything. It was just pure D love
Yeah,
that I went there and I had a chance to laugh and joke with dad while he was in the hospital. And then got mom, she got in the car and we got her back home and got her in the house safe and everything. And then I came back home myself and everything. So it's just what you got to do
mm-hmm.
and making sacrifices. That's what really just culminates a relationship, culminates a marriage. It culminates a lot of things and everything. So I got a just an appreciation just for our our older group, our elders. I'm gonna call them like that. I got an appreciation for our elders and everything because we learned so many life lessons from the elders. Uh, Younger people, you can definitely learn a lot from your elders. And this is how I've realized that I was getting old. When I was at the gas station, probably like a week ago, a young brother came to me, OG, OG. I say, OG. Oh man, when they start calling you OG, you know you up there, man. Or ump. When they call you
Mm-hmm.
OG or ump, you like, God, dog. But the thing is, we finna be that next generation where our parents at.
Mm-hmm.
We go slide into that generation and everything. We go be the elders.
Yeah,
Uh, we go be the elders eventually. So
yeah,
it just goes to show you, man. I appreciate the vows and everything, and uh, like you say, for better for worse. I mean, we didn't set through it all, man. I mean, richer for poor, man. I mean, hey, we had some good days financially, we had some bad days financially, but
mm-hmm.
in spite of it all, we just thank God for that struggle because when you struggle and come out or persevere after you guys struggle together, you feel like there's nothing in this world, whatever obstacle that you're faced with,
Yeah,
you can tackle it.
yeah,
And that's the way we felt. Whatever obstacle we faced with, we can tackle it. So
yeah,
that was one of the biggest things that we felt. So
yeah,
man, man, I appreciate everybody coming on tonight, man.
yeah,
I really do, man. It was amazing chop up and little story time we had and everything. Uh,
Next time
we're gonna have a guest. I promise you, we're gonna have us some guests, y'all. We're gonna have some guests, man. We're gonna have some guests on the show to share so they can share their journey because I know you guys hear our journey and everything, but
we
you
have
you
friends
you
that
get strength and encouragement for other people and learning about their journey as well because they'll tell you everything is not like it not just what everybody think it's supposed to be and everything. You have your good days and your bad days.
yeah.
So it's not like that you're not going to learn and grow, but every day you learn something new and you grow and you try to apply it to your daily living. So,
Yeah. Well, I think we out, babe.
man,
I done cried my little
she done
tears.
cried and everything, and
I got tomorrow off. Hallelujah.
oh, you got tomorrow?
Yes, and Monday. I'm going to get mom.
Oh man, we tomorrow, so we get to
It's time to pull up
what we get to do tonight.
powwow with the pal.
Hey man, I'm Brian.
I'm Vanessa.
And we the Piles. We out of here. Check us out next Thursday. Peace.